Hi Nana, hello from Kennesaw. We're excited that you are excited about taking care of your health. And so this is a little workout routine that I used to do down in Tifton, Georgia, all those years ago. So as you go through this routine, you can stop as much as you want to, take a break whenever you need to. We're just glad you're taking care of your health. So what we're going to do first is warm up. And all I want you to do is I want you to take 10 laps around your house on the inside. So what the route is that I'm thinking of is that little roundabout that goes through the kitchen, into the living room, back out into the guest rooms and dining room, and back through your kitchen again. Go ahead and do 10 casual, slow steps through that space, and then come back to the video. All right, so now that you're warmed up, what we're going to do is just some basic leg extensions. And so all I want you to do is put your hands on top of your chair. And for this, there's no need to force anything. There's no need for speed. All we're doing is just some basic leg extensions and leg lifts. And so what we're really going to do is focus on making sure that our knees are not locked. Go ahead and relax your knees. Don't feel like you have to lock your knees. Also make sure that your core is tight, your lower back is tight. Making sure that those are engaged is the way I want you to think about it. I don't think that you have to flex while you're doing these, but you want to be conscious that this is engaging with your core as well as through your hips and through your legs. Okay? So once you have your hands on your chair, what I want you to do is we're going to do right leg first, and we're going to do 10 kicks to the back, and then we're going to alternate. So just try to keep pace with me. If I'm going too fast, you can definitely slow down. If I'm going too slow, well, that's just the pace we're going to go, and I believe in you. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and to the back. That's 1. And make sure with each one of these that you're just going to put your foot back into the original position that it starts. 4. We're not going back too far. We're not forcing anything. Make sure that your core is engaged. 7, 8, 9, 10, and relax. And then we're going to switch to our left leg. And 1, 2, 3. You notice I'm putting my foot back in place each time. We're not trying to do any swinging or anything like that. By making sure that you start your leg from the rest position, with it actually touching and starting from the ground, it makes it so that we don't actually swing it back there with no control. 9 and 10. All right. Now what you're going to do, keeping your hands on your chair, we're just going to kick our legs out to the side. So we're going to start with our right leg again. Again, make sure that your knees aren't tight. Your legs are just kind of relaxed. And we're not trying to go very far with this leg extension to the right. So you're going to start with your right leg, hands on top of the chair. Make sure your core is engaged. And we're going to do 10 to the right. So 1, back down, 2, back down, 3, back down, 4, back down, 8, 9, and 10. All right, now we're going to switch over to the left. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And you notice that again, I'm not flailing my legs, I'm not swinging my legs, I'm literally focusing on using my hip to extend to the left and engaging my core. 9 and 10. All right, now what I want you to do is I want you to point your toes to the right. Put your left hand on the front of your chair. Now this is where a lot of people have a tendency to just want to sling their legs all over the place. And what we're trying to do is just controlled motion. So each one of these is a concentrated effort. All right. So we're going to swing 10 to the front with our right leg, and then we're going to switch directions and do 10 to the front with our left. So let's start with our right and to the front. 1, back down, 2, back down. I'm not going far. We're not slinging it. We're not kicking it. We're just trying to raise it up. And I'm really focusing on using my hip to lift up my leg. And I'm only going up 2 or 3 feet off the ground. 7, 8. And again, engage your core as you're going through this. Engage your lower back. And 10. Let's switch sides. I'm going to wait for my assistant to come over. She didn't want the thong gear. She doesn't want the butt shot. All right, here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whew. Now let's face the front again, so you're facing the back of your chair. And all I want you to do now is our lower legs are all ready to roll. What we're going to do is we're just going to do some arm circles to the front. And you can decide how exaggerated you want these to be. I try to be a little bit more focused and do them a little bit smaller like this. Other folks go really wide. It depends on what your range of motion is. We're just trying to wake up the arms and move them to the front. Nice and slow, controlled. Don't forget to breathe. And again, make sure that you're engaging your core. You're not locking your knees. Your knees are relaxed during this exercise. All right, we'll do 3, 2, and relax. And then we're going to go backwards, just change directions. And again, we're not trying to do the biggest circles. We're not trying to do the smallest. It's kind of whatever you feel you need to wake up your upper body. All right, 3 more. 2, and relax. And so what you're going to do next is put your hands back on the top of the chair. Relax your knees, engage your core, and we're just going to roll our shoulders to the back. And let's just do this nice and slow. You're not trying to strain your neck. You're not trying to tense up your neck. You're just loosening up your shoulders. We're going to do this 10 times. That's 8, 9, and 10. And then we're going to roll to the front. And we're just waking things up. You notice we didn't do a lot of stretching before we got started. We're just walking, or we walked around, and then we got some movement going to wake our bodies up. That's intentional. 2, and relax. All right, how you feeling? Are you feeling good? I hope you got some good music playing. Hope you got Big John dancing behind you. Should be a lot of fun. Go ahead and grab your weights. Again, the lighter the better, really, as you're learning this routine. As your strength grows, you can decide when you want to increase, or as you ask your doctor and say, this is the routine I'm going for, and they say, great, go ahead and increase your weights, and then you listen to them and increase when they tell you to. So you have your 2-pound weights. What we're going to do next is this little thing, it's a little bit of chair aerobics, and so we're going to go nice and slow, but you're going to put your weights on top of your knees. Put your hands on top of the weights and make sure that they're secure. We don't want things to roll off. And all we're going to do is sitting in our chair is you're just going to raise your right leg and then your left leg. Your right leg and your left leg. And as you're going through, we're going to do this about 20 times. We're just still warming up the legs and getting them going. As you're going through this process, you want to make sure that your core is tight, it's engaged. Again, I don't want you flexing as hard as you can with your stomach and your lower back. But instead, I want you to just be conscientious that I'm going to be engaged with my core as I'm going through these knee highs. 3, 2, and 1. Nice work, Nana. All right, so now put your arms to the side. And what I want you to do is we're going to do some basic moves. All right, we're going to start off with some arm curls. So, Kristen, if you want to come over to my left side, you can show a little what we're doing. So you want to make sure that when you're sitting in your chair, and you want to make sure that you're able to rest, what we're going to do is some basic bicep curls. We don't want to be slumped over. We don't want to be hyperextended to the back. You want to be in a comfortable position where your butt's to the back of the chair, and your posture feels naturally straight. If you hyperextend, you're going to strain things out. If you hunch over too much, it's not going to be as beneficial. So once you find your posture, make sure your feet are flat on the ground. And let's just do some basic curls. So you're going to go straight up. You'll see my left arm. Just going to go straight up and right back down. Straight up, right back down. You'll notice my elbow is not moving away from my body. It's staying in place. So Kristen, if you want to go behind me or in front, you can see that my elbow is staying in place. It's not going away from my body. It's not doing this or anything like that. It's staying right where it started, and you're going straight up and straight down. And one of the things I encourage you to do is, if you want to focus on my wrist, Kristen, is I'm actually turning my wrist up towards the ceiling as I'm curling up, and then pointing my wrist back towards the floor as I'm curling down. And that motion, again, is all about the range of motion. All right? We're not trying to go super fast. Each one of these, you can take 1 second, 2 seconds to curl up, 2 seconds to curl down. That could be a good pace for you to start. You'll find your own comfortable zone with this. And what we're going to do is we're going to do about 3 more of these. And as you work on your form, your strength will increase. But again, make sure that your core is engaged. You're not flexing your core, you're not flexing your back, you're just staying engaged with the process. And 2, and last 2. 1 and 2. And put your weights back on your knees. Good. And so next what we're going to do is we're going to do some shoulder exercises. And we're going to do a few of these. So as you go through, your strength might not be where you want it to be today. So as I demonstrate all of these, you can decide how many reps you want to do. Eventually you may even get up to 10 reps per exercise. But for today, we're going to shoot for 5 reps per exercise. And that's going to end up being 15 different raises for your shoulders today, which is exciting. That means you're going to be nice and fit and be able to have that full range of motions in your shoulders. Okay, so we're going to start with our weights by our side, the same place that you probably started with your bicep curls. And what you're going to do with both weights at the same time is you're going to make sure that you, number one, get back into that posture. You're not hunching forward. You're not hyperextending back, because that will stress you out, straighten your back. Make sure your feet are flat on the ground. And all you're going to do is straight out and straight back down. Straight out and back down. 3, 4, and 5. Now I'm going to do a couple more because I want you to make sure you notice that my weights are not going above my shoulder line. I'm not going too high up here. I'm not going, when I'm bringing it back down, I'm not going behind the back of my chair. You want to make sure, think of it like a lane of traffic that's starting with wherever your weights are by your side, going straight up and making a straight line from wrist to wrist, and then back down. Okay, I'm going to do 2 more. 1 and 2. And now that you're done with that, what I want you to do is keeping your weights pointing up and down like this, go ahead and put them back down by your side. And then what you're going to do is alternate your arms. So you're going to bring one weight straight up and back down, and the second one straight up and back down, straight up and back down. And again, as I'm going through this, you notice that I'm not trying to bring the weight past my shoulder. I'm trying to bring it perfectly in line with my shoulder. And we're only trying to get to 5 per arm, whatever your pace is. One good count that we used to do a lot is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Now for your last exercise, this is a big shoulder press. Are you excited? I can see the excitement. It's going to be good. So what you're going to do, oh, Kristen's laughing at me. All right, so next we're going to press these things over our heads. All right, now this exercise is challenging. So if you hit 3 on the first time you're doing it, fantastic. Eventually you'll get to 5 if that's your goal. But what you want to do with this is make sure that your form is really on point with this. All right, so you're going to bring your weights up. And you notice I have a straight line going from elbow to elbow. All right, now Kristen, come to the side. Because it's really important that you're able to get into this position correctly. Once you're in this position, you make sure that your elbows aren't going behind your back. They're not going in front of your chest. Your back is in the same posture that it was in your bicep curls. And again, we've got a straight line from elbow to elbow. Now, the other thing that people worry about is how close are these weights to my head. So I'm going to have Kristen come back up to the front. All I want you to do with these weights is instead of having them at the angle towards your ears, I want you to just point them straight up to the ceiling. And once you're in this position, they'll get closer together as you press up. So again, we're going to shoot for 3. If you can get to 5 today, awesome. But here we're going to go up, and it's going to, again, 1, 2, and then back down. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, last one, 2, and 2. And then go ahead and relax your weights on your knees. Now let's go and roll our shoulders to the back. 3, 4, 5. Relax and then roll to the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now as we're going through, let's do some more knee highs. Get our lower body going again. And we're going to shoot for 20. Doing great, we're almost there. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, now what I want you to do is you're going to get out of your chair, and you can do this in a couple of different ways. I have some people, they just stand right up and they have their weights in their hands. If you want to have a table next to you that you can put your weights on first before you stand up, that's also a smart idea as you're going through this workout. So I'm just going to stand up. You're going to move to the back of your chair. There's a couple of exercises that we have left. What you're going to do is you're going to need one weight for this. I'm going to put one of my weights away. The last exercise that we're going to do is going to be our triceps today. All right, and so for our tricep, we're going to do a tricep extension. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift my chair towards Kristen so she can see the angle. Now for this exercise, you want to make sure that, again, there's nothing jerky about this motion. Everything is a one fluid motion as you're going through. All right, we're going to do my left arm first. So I'll switch over here. And so what you're going to do is you're going to put your right hand on the chair and go ahead and make sure you're balanced on that. And we're not locking our knees or relaxing our knees. What I encourage people to do is to step forward with their right leg or the opposite hand or the opposite leg of what you're working out with. Now, as you're extending out, what I want you to do is, again, you remember how we kept our elbows in a stable position during our bicep curls? We're going to do the same thing with our tricep extension. So you're going to take your elbow, bring it next to your body, and with your weight, you're going to press it and extend it out, and then bring it back. All right, now as you're going through this, this is not a large movement. This is a simple, straightforward, concentrated movement as you're going through. Now, one of the things that I'm doing today is I started out with my weight being pointing towards the front of me and going out the back, but then as I extend it, I twist it out to the back. Depending on how your elbow is, you may not want to do that twist. You may want to do just one solid motion. As your strength increases, one of the things we used to do is to add another twist to where we go to the back. So we have straight up and down with the weight, pushing the weight in our wrist to the back of the room, and then pushing the back of our hand towards the back of the room. But you notice my elbow is not moving around, it's not going past my body, my knees are relaxed, my core is engaged, and my chair is helping me stabilize. Now this chair is a little low for me. I will probably have a chair that will be at least as high as my hip that can help me out. Another form of this that you could do if you decide you want to, is you could also put your feet together, relax your knees, get your elbow in that same position it was before. Start with it up here and then go straight back. You also can do that motion, and that'll work out your tricep as well. And as you go through, again, we're not trying to get past 5 with the first round. And 3, 2, and relax. Now, once you're done with that, now we're going to be into our cool down phase. Make sure that you do that on both sides. And the cool down, we're going to kind of reverse what we did before. All right, so in your cool down, just give me some shoulder circles to the front, nothing fast. You can decide how much range of motion you want to put in there. But we're just trying to make sure that we engage those shoulders, engage our core, relax our knees. We're not locking our knees. Make sure you change directions. Three, 2, and relax. And then we're going to do our leg extensions again. So we have our hands on the chair, all right? And we're going to go to the back. 1, relax. 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Take a breath if you need to. I'm going to go straight into going to the right, to the side. Again, I'm holding on to the chair. 1, relaxing my knees, making sure my core is engaged. And make sure that your chair is high enough. Like this chair is definitely too low for me. I would want something about right here, so I'm not humping over to the chair. So make sure that your chair is a little higher. 4 and 5, and then to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to do door kicks to the front. Home stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then chain sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And as you get finished, if you want to do those laps again that you did to warm up, you absolutely can, and that's a great cool down. And one of the things that you can do, Nana, as you get stronger, is you can do this routine 2 times in a row, or you can increase your number of reps. It's up to you. Just make sure that as you're going through, the point of this is range of motion and basic function. We're not trying to do anything other than that. So again, thank you so much for taking your health seriously and incorporating this video into what you're doing, and I hope it works out for you. If you've got any questions, you know how to get in contact with Kristen. All right, love you. Bye.